Hello and welcome to my review on Transformers Earthrise Skylynx. Now, of course, this is a commander class, and this figure was one of my favorite toys for the longest time. Skylynx was my favorite character for a good part of my life. Now it's probably Armada Optimus Prime. But this figure has been with me since it came out, obviously. And this is just such a solid commander class. I think this is the best commander class objectively, although I just like Armada Prime a little bit more. But taking a look at this guy, he's just a space shuttle strapped to a giant block of American colors. Pretty much what that is. It is a block for a bunch of different guys, and they have like a little ramp on the back here that you could load up like a bunch of small Transformers or something. And if you know Skylynx, you'll know that you can press this button and he comes off. Now, to get him back on is a little tricky, although I will show that later. But by themselves, this guy, again, here's the ramp I was talking about, just comes out. It's easier to get at when it's off, and you can just load whatever you want in there. And usually when I'm storing it, I load all the special fire effects in there, so I don't lose them and don't have to use a bag. This guy's a little more interesting, though. Sky, at least that's what I think it is. This guy's Sky, the guy's a Lynx, and then the combined Skylynx. I don't know. That's just my thought. Anyway, Space Shuttle. This is obviously licensed also by NASA, which is super cool. And we have an opening bit right here, just like the original. And it's in a nice gold finish, although the original was more of a chrome kind of gold. But this looks pretty decent as well. The original had it a little bit better, but what you gonna do? The new figures are usually not as detailed in certain aspects, or just not that certain way that they used to make them. But also, we have landing gear, one right there, and then two in the back that are identical. They just flip out, and they all roll, but they don't really roll well, and they like to collapse. And when they collapse, you gotta get them again. But he can roll. And I do have the G1 Skylynx too. That's who I'm going to be reviewing next, so look out for that review. Anyway, in the back here, we have a bunch of jets, and we get a bunch of accessories. These two are more for Lynx, and this is for everyone, or the two. So we have one big one, and then we have two smaller ones, but these are a little bit different. This one's a little bit bigger, so that goes right there, and this one can go here. And then we have a longer cone-like shape one, and that can go onto there. And then we can bring another small one, and we have 3 of those that are identical. So I think there's 7 in total, which is super nice. And we can obviously just plug these onto the back and give them some thrust capabilities, which is super neat. And we can just do this. And this, I'd imagine, is great for stop motion. Doing all this, I feel like would be really cool. And you could just like turn these around. I know Lazy Eyebrow has done something like this, but we can just bring that all there, and it's just an incredible amount of thrust. This thing could go across galaxies. But yeah, that's it for him. Lynx will bring back just to show off. This can go onto the sides here, or it can go back here. So whatever is your choosing. I like to have them up front. But next, I think I will go into the base mode. So this is something that the original didn't have, which I think is super cool. First, we're going to want to start by opening these legs up here. And then we're going to flip him over. And we're going to rotate these around. And these can go any way you want. I just like to have them out like this and bring this down. Kind of have this like that. Just whatever way looks good in your eyes, you can do. I just like using those as like supports. And then we can come to the front here and split this open. And we can bring this down. And we can bring these panels down. And these panels can combine with, I believe, any base mode, even from Combiner Wars Titans Return era. Although I'm not sure for if that is compatible, but I know it's compatible with Double Dealer. And then we can also bring this ramp up simply like that. And then there's 3 little pegs there. Those go into the 3 main thrusters. And you can just plug this on right there. Let me see if I can get this on right. There we go. And then you have that, which gets super tall. And then we can open up this and bring in the ramp. And now we have super cool base mode. And if you wanted to, you can bring these up, and these can be cannons. And you can put this right here. It's a 5mm peg. And there we go. Now it is an armed base mode. And he is very protected and ready to launch off. So this is a cool addition. I do have to admit that it does add a little bit to the figure that wasn't there on the original. Although obviously it doesn't have the walking gimmick, but I would rather posability over a walking gimmick any day of the week. Although I do like what's his name? Scavenger from Armada. I like his walking gimmick, but still almost just rather posability. But anyway, next to transform, actually we can leave those out, transform Lynx here, we can bring up these ramps. Those just snap in, and then there's little clips that hold those in, and they kind of feel like you're gonna break them, but you won't. At least I hope not. And then we can bring these to the correct orientation. And there's like 2 joints here, one that like brings out more mechanical detail, like that. So I like doing it at that joint. And this guy has got a lot of ratchets, which makes him super loud, which is fine. It's kind of an homage to the G1 being so loud, the gimmick, the walking gimmick. And there we go. Then as soon as we have all of those legs orientated, we can simply come to the bottom here and flip out his head. And oh my gosh, is that head adorable. I have done so many different things with this mold, and just like messing around with them and making them in poses. Like I've had them before where they're trying to drink out of water, and one of them's mad that he's not giving the other guy a turn. I've done some interesting things when it comes to that. But for this guy, we're just going to want to rip the head right out of the socket, but you know what I mean. And we can bring his head down and bring out his mouth, and he is so adorable. Coming to the bottom here, we're going to want to untab the wings from the legs, which will probably already be done. And then bring them forward, ratchet, and just bring out the feet. And do the same thing on the other side. And then, there we go. There we have Sky standing up. Let's see if I can get him to stand. There he is. Now we got to do some more work on him. We'll start by opening up these wings. And sadly, there's a track here, so there's just a hole in the wing. I wish it was just one swivel point, like right there, and it would have a little locking gimmick somewhere else to where that gap wasn't there. But it's not the end of the world. Then we can take out this tail, and it just accordions out, and that is super fun. Now these clips are getting a little loose, and I've had to tighten them up before, and they do tend to pop off. And I'm imagining that's not going to get much better over time, but they've held up pretty good for how long this figure has been played with. And there they are together, and I cannot get Sky's head in there. I'm going to bring it down. There we go. This guy's big, and now they're looking right at the camera. Doesn't that make you just want to feed them? Anyway, for articulation with these guys, we have a little joint at the tail, And all 4 of the legs are the exact same. So they go out 90 degrees. You can have a full 360 swivel. We have a swivel up here. 2 joints right there, which allows you to get as much range as you need. And we have a ankle rocker. And for transformation, this can go up all the way and can go back all the way as well. And at the head, we have an up and down right here, which can go up that far and can go down all the way for transformation. And we have a side to side. And at the head, there's a ball joint and a hinge, so it can look side to side. You can rotate it. At the mouth, you can open his mouth up, and there's a little tongue in there that has a little blast effect gun compatibility. And you can just put that right on there. It's a little tricky. And there we go. So now you can have him blazing fire out of his mouth. And of course you can bring these panels in, and these are blast effect compatible. And these can just simply get plugged in just like that. Now bringing over Sky here, we have legs, and these legs can move at their feet 90 degrees to side, no rotation. We have a ratcheted joint at the base of the foot, and then we have little swivels right here on the feet, and we have another joint right here. And if you wanted to, you could give them more like a humanoid kind of pose with the legs bend forward, which looks kind of funny actually. I don't know why, but I usually just have them normal. And then we also have a swivel here. Go back, forward, and out. Now this guy is a little tricky to stand up sometimes, so there's that, and it's kind of just a balancing act, and it's not too bad. And when it comes to the wings here, I did do a few modifications, I think. The swivel here, I put some super glue in, and I just kept rotating it till it dried up. And now this thing hasn't popped off ever since, and I've had it done like years ago. So I really recommend putting some super glue in these joints right there, and then just rotating them. It will make them so much more durable, and they won't come off. And then you also have a joint right here, which was really loose on mine, so I put some super glue in there and tightened that up. And also we have an outwards joint right here, and it can go up and down. So you can bring his wings up like a traditional bird, and you can have him like that, which looks pretty cool. Definitely something new to have. Makes him more organic, I guess you could say. And we also have a little articulation right here and right here. And I also put some super glue in this joint here, waited it for it to dry, and then just snapped it off, and now it's a little tighter. It's starting to loosen up again. But at least it's not super duper loose anymore. So that's basically it for these two. And you can put them in any cool poses that you'd like. They are super fun. And this is my favorite part about this figure, is these two separate. Because you can do interactions with them posing, and I just love these guys. But of course, that is not all it can do. We can make him Skylynx. And to do that, simply we're going to close up that mouth. Oh, there goes Sky. Oh boy. See, a little unstable. And then we're going to bring this piece down, and there are 2 blast effects on this, so if you wanted to, you could put a blast effect on it like that and have him shooting under his neck. And then we're just going to do the same thing we did before, but in reverse, to put that head away. And you can leave the tails out, or you can put them down and the shoulder down, so that's what I'm going to do. And we're also going to put this other gun on here, and I'm going to bring these down just to give them some more beef. So there you have Sky done, or Lynx, not Sky. Now Sky, he's pretty simple in what we want to do here. We're just going to straighten out the legs, bring these down, and then fold them up. Bring these down, straighten out the leg, fold it up, and simply bring it right into the cavity, simply like that, and that. And there we go. There we have Sky all prepped. Now we can take these two together, and there are some key parts of this that make this easier. You can see this little bump right here. There's a little peg right here, and then that will go into there. And what we're going to want to do is push it in at an angle like that, so it's at an angle, and then bring it down, and then there's a little tab right here that's white that it goes into. So in order to do that, it takes a little bit of practice. Let's see if I still got it. There we go. Super easy if you know how to do it. And this guy is massive and tall and just huge. So it's barely gonna fit on my setup here. But there we go. There we have Skylynx in his combined mode. And there's no real new articulation, so I'm not going to go over anything. Although I did forget to go over the neck and tail, so I guess it's great to go over it now. We have a joint here, we have a double joint here, and a joint here. And we also have a joint right there, which can go side to side. And these can go a full 180 on all of these. So sadly, there's no side to side on the tail. That's the only thing I wish they had on the posability for this thing. But at the neck here, we have a joint right here. We have a joint that goes side to side here. And then we have each one of these has a few clicks that you can bring them up. And there's 3 right there, and then right up here too. Although this one doesn't have any ratchet, it's a little softer. And then there is a ball joint at the head, so we can look up, down, kind of wiggly wobbly, and can look left and right. And at the mouth, we have a little gun here and some nicely molded in teeth, and they're not that sharp, which is very nice. Some third-party teeth on Transformers get so incredibly sharp, and they're just not fun to play with at that point. So that is basically it for this guy. But we have one last thing we can do. We can put fire effects in his mouth, and it's the same thing as Lynx. You just line them up, and it goes in. Although his mouth tends to fall down simply because those blast effects get so heavy. So I don't like really doing a full one there. I just like putting one of these in here, closing that mouth up. And there we go. Now you can give him a nice dynamic pose. And yeah, this figure is very solid. I love the colors they've used. It has definitely held up over the time I've had it. And I don't really have any joints that have loosened up because it's all ratcheted. And if you're going to pick up one commander class, I'd recommend getting this one. I don't know how much it is anymore. I know Jetfire got really expensive, but I'm not sure on Skylynx. I'd have to look at that. But this figure is well worth it. Probably $120 if it's gone up that much. I hope it hasn't. But the original $90 is a steal in my eyes. This figure is almost perfect. All we would have needed is that tail to articulate side to side, and this thing would have been super great, and also a way to get rid of that gap. But other than that, there's nothing else to say about this thing other than it's great. And I forgot a step. Yep. These can come out to the sides like that. I never use it because that's not how it's been in the show or on the original toy, so I always forget about it. But these can come out to make them look a little more dynamic. So anyway, this has been it for my review, and see you guys next time. Peace out. I can't even push you over because you got 4 legs.